Hello, my name is Noor Wafayee, and my speech is going to be about heroes. Some people's heroes are Superman. Other people's heroes are Kanye West. My hero is my dad. My speech is going to be about my dad because he is the biggest inspiration in my life, and he saved me from drowning when I was about 3 years old. My dad went from living in a village to a businessman owning 5 different properties and 2 shopping strips. He worked countless hours to get where he is today. Now he always pushes me to be the best person that I can be, and he always tells me to make the best of my time, because these days will never come back again. My dad has taught me 6 valuable life lessons, and I will reveal them one by one throughout my presentation. Although they are all pretty cliche, I've learned a lot from them and the experiences that my dad has faced. My first lesson is one that I will never forget. My dad always says, "Noor, this is your golden opportunity, and these days will never come back. Don't waste your time." Now, when I always hear this, I'm always like, okay, yeah, sure, Dad, whatever. But if you think about it, my dad says these things because he grew up in Afghanistan in a small village called Tahar. He was the final child of 6 children and living in a country where there was no electricity or no opportunities. He went to school but was not able to complete high school because of the war occurring at the time. However, the last 4 years of school that he did receive, he was the top of his class. He dreamed of coming to America one day because he heard about how free it was, how peaceful it was, and all the opportunities that it offered. When my dad turned 21 years old, he came to the United States in 1987 with the help of his brother who already lived here. He came knowing very little English and without any money in his pocket. They lived in a small, cramped apartment. And immediately after his arrival, my dad began working. He worked 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. And at the time, he was also taking English classes. When he was done with those English classes after a couple of years, he began working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Times were hard, but my dad continued working the best that he could. He dreamed that one day he would save up enough money and open his own store. He had been thinking about it for a very long time, and slowly but surely, my dad began saving up his money. When my dad was about to reach his goal amount of money, he heard grave news about his aunt. The doctor had diagnosed her with some sort of heart problem, and she would not live long if she did not have her surgery. The cost of the surgery was about $5,000, and back then that was a lot of money. My dad remembered how much of a sweet, poor lady that she was, and that one time she had nursed him back to health when he had the flu. He really wanted to help her, but he also really wanted to buy the store. In the end, he ended up sending her the money, and she was very grateful and thanked him many times over. He was happy about his decision, and he continued working so he could reach his goal amount. This experience has taught me that family is one of the most important things in my life, and nothing can come over family. Finally, after working many days and nights, with the help of his brother and some loans from the bank, my dad bought his first store. It was an old building, and it was in pretty bad shape, and he encountered many problems with it. He was not getting very much business due to the decrepit shape of the building, so he remodeled the whole thing, and he put in some new gas pumps. He named the store Zoom In because you could quickly go in and get whatever you needed. The store started to become more and more popular, so he needed to hire some employees, and after many interviews, he selected 5 people to help run the store with him. Soon, my dad's store became one of the most popular stores in the area because it was one of the only ones in the area. What I take away from this is that consistency and hard work are the keys to success. After a little while, my dad had enough money to buy an even bigger store, and he thought, the more the merrier. My dad bought another store, and he began running both stores. He would go to one store one day and the other store the next day. However, the stress of running 2 stores eventually got to my dad, and he just let the old one out for lease. My dad realized, hey, this is a lot easier than running both stores, and he was still getting income. So, this has taught me that if I have some extra money, I should put it to good use so that it can help me when I'm in need, and that I should make the best out of something that is difficult or too hard to handle. My dad repeated the process of buying, renovating, and leasing over and over, and expanded his area of income greatly. My dad is now making a cozy yearly income and working with his brother at the old store just to keep himself occupied. My dad enjoys traveling to all kinds of different places, his favorite being Turkey. What I have learned from my dad's life is that I should work as hard as I can manage while I'm younger, so I can relax and travel while I'm older. My dad worked hard in his life, is a great father, and is pretty overprotective of me. This is because one day I was at my neighbor/uncle's house, and my dad was sitting in the front yard sipping on some tea. He was about to go inside the house when he heard his niece scream for her uncle. Immediately, he knew that something was wrong. He ran over to the backyard of his brother's house and saw that I had fallen into the deep end of the pool. And me being 3 years old, I could not swim. My dad jumped in with everything he had in his pockets and pulled me out of the water. But I had taken in a lot of pool water, so he had to perform CPR that he had thankfully learned from his friend in college until I coughed up all the water. He never wanted to get that close to losing me ever again. Now I have an overprotective father who still tells me to look both ways before I cross the street. But I guess that's a good thing. My dad went from being a village boy to a hardworking adult with dreams of his own to a businessman who now relaxes and travels around the world. Thank you.